going down on TV. You can stress it, second guess it. You can think about it way too hard, or you can move the conversation from your head to your heart. Sometimes it's a matter of just letting go and holding on to the one thing we know. Love wins, love wins. That's where the circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson we're learning again and again. Love wins. We all matter. It doesn't matter if we're on one side or the other, as long as we find a way to get along with one another. We can agree to disagree, or maybe even realize that you see another point of view when you look through someone else's eyes. Sometimes it's as easy as just letting go and holding on to the one thing we know. Love wins, love wins. That's where the circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson worth learning again and again. Love wins whenever you give it a chance. It is the one hope that everyone has to build a better world for us all. Love wins, love wins. That's where the circle of life begins. It's the one simple lesson we're learning again and again. Love wins. That's where it all begins. Love wins. We learn it again and again. Love wins. That's where it all begins. Love wins. We learn it again and again. Love is the lesson. Love wins. That's where it all begins. Love is the lesson. Love wins. We learn it again and again. Love wins. That's where it all begins. Love wins. We learn it again and again. Love is the lesson. Love wins.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Everybody looks gorgeous. I'm Beverly Pryor. I'm the minister at Unity of the Hill Country in Kerrville, Texas, and you are live on Zoom this morning. So Mandy's going to be, you can see Mandy up here in the corner at the top of the screen, Mandy Scott. She'll be muting everyone until like Amanda Degadia is going to read and Art and Lisa will sing. But for this moment, let's just take a moment and get settled in prayer. So let's close our eyes together and just take a deep breath in. And as we release that breath, we just let go. Become fully present. Just release all the hurry and the busyness of the morning and just drop into this now moment. We open our hearts in gratitude for this beautiful, beautiful spring day, this wonderful opportunity to get together. Even though it's virtual, we know that we're connected. We can maintain our connection with our community and we can feel the love. And feel the love present in this moment and in every moment of each and every day. Because we know who we are. We're each and every one of us an expression of the Christ within. that indwelling Christ Spirit, that Jesus, our way shower, taught us how to be. So on this beautiful Easter morning, we just say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. So I'm going to flip back over to the presentation slides. And there we go. And Mandy will keep allowing people to come and join us. So this is our opening statement that we say each and every week, and you can say it at home with me along, or you can just hear my voice. There's only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God, the good, the omnipotent. Okay, I have a few little announcements. We've been doing Metaphysical Mondays and Tuesday Tenderness and Wednesday Wisdom, and we've had good attendance. That's just a great way for us to stay connected. But after this week, Tuesday Tenderness will move to a monthly. So we'll keep our Metaphysical Mondays at 6 o'clock on Monday, and then we're going to move Wednesday Wisdom this week to 4 p.m., and then we'll talk about it together. The board meeting is actually at 6 p.m. So we will meet at 4 this Wednesday. On Tuesday, this for the last of the weekly Tuesday Tenderness, Dr. Nancy Little will be our presenter, and she is someone who has written the curriculum for Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute's self-care program, the self-care course that the ministers get credit for. And she'll be speaking about safety nets to reduce the distance that people fall and dissipate the impact. So if you're having a little bit of a tough time, she'll give you some clues and some tips. And she's a great friend and a licensed Unity teacher. So she's very tuned in with Unity principle. Just a reminder, you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and also at our website at unityhillcountry.org. And our donation button on the website is now working. So let's just take a moment and get centered in prayer again. And this time we're focusing on the requests that we've received over the internet. You know, typically we have this beautiful box that sits on campus and you can drop a handwritten note card in. We haven't had our doors open for a few weeks now, so we don't have any new ones in there. Mandy's already mailed them off to Silent Unity. But when we have them, we pray over them here, and then we send them on to Unity Village where they're prayed over at Silent Unity for 30 days. Prayer is a powerful thing, and Silent Unity has been in 24/7 prayer for over 130 years. And recently they've had to reduce their hours due to people having to work from home. But there's still constant prayer happening. Just because they're not taking calls 24 hours a day, don't think that they're not praying 24 hours a day. So if you haven't had a chance to submit a prayer request either on our website or at Silent Unity, and both of those websites are listed here, you can also call or write to this address. Just go ahead now and send it in, just through your thoughts and from your heart, whatever it is that you need a little support in right now. It could be for you or for a loved one. There's no degree in prayer. There's nothing too difficult or too small to send up in prayer. Your prayer may be for wellness or finances or relationship. It doesn't matter to that absolute good in the universe that we refer to as God. The answer is always yes. Yes, yes, yes. So let's just take a moment and take a deep breath. And again, we just go to gratitude and appreciation for the truth that we know is absolute, immutable. It's principle in our life that prayer works. Prayer is so powerful and is always working on our behalf and in our favor. We're so grateful to the presence and the power of prayer in our lives, and that we have so many ways in which we can connect and know that source. In this moment, together, we simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it is done. So it is. Amen. Our mission and vision statement, I combined them on one slide today because I like the way they sound together. To live consciously, creating the divine potential, celebrating the divine potential in all. Celebrating, creating, it's all good. It's good creative energy. To live consciously, celebrating the divine potential in all. And now we will have our daily word reading by Amanda Degadillo.
The word of the day is Easter, and the affirmation is, I recognize the risen Christ in family, friends, and my spiritual community. Early in the evening, on the day of resurrection, Jesus, unrecognized, joined two of his followers as they journey from Jerusalem toward the nearby village of Emmaus. Accepting an invitation to stay and share a meal, Jesus takes bread, blesses and breaks it, then gives it to his hosts. In that moment, their eyes are opened. They recognize Jesus, and, alive in their hearts, he vanishes from their sight. Later, the two explain to others how the risen Christ became a living presence to them in the fellowship of breaking bread. Easter celebrates the risen Christ, an immortal presence freed from all limitation, awaiting discovery in every person and life event. I recognize the risen Christ in shared experiences with family, friends, and my spiritual community. In Luke 24:31, it says, Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. Again, today's affirmation is, I recognize the risen Christ in family, friends, and my spiritual community.
Thank you, Amanda. That was great. What a good message for this special day. And now we're so fortunate that we have special music by Art and Lisa Beck Crawford, and they are coming to us live.
We're honored to be here today. Happy Easter to everybody. Hope this hits your heart like it does ours.
My friends, come stand beside me. Lately I'm feeling so lost. The flood came and washed the stones from my path away. The hot sun turned the mud to dust. Calling in the sheep for the evening. There's a voice that calls above out in the wind. It says, come rest beside my little fire. We'll ride out the storm that's rolling in. My friends, you know me and my family. You've seen me wandering through these times. You've seen me in weakness and in power. You've seen me forgetful and unkind. But all that I want is one who knows me. A kind hand on my face when I weep. I'd give back all these things I know that they're meaningless for a little fire beside me when I sleep. right hand on my face when I weep. And I'd give back all these things. I know they're meaningless for a little fire beside me when I sleep. Just a little fire beside me when I sleep.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I know you can hear all the virtual clapping going on.
I can see it.
Okay, good. This is how you can do it, folks. Just kind of put your hands up and give them some love. So thank you so much. That was amazing. Okay. Sorry, sometimes it doesn't want to change when I ask it to. It's just going to sit there for a minute. So, all right. Thank you so much. So now's our time where we move into a moment of meditation. And I'm going to put a little music on in the background. And if you will just sit back in your seat, your chair, whatever chair you're sitting in, just fully allow your chair to support your body. Just drop right in and completely relax. Sitting back, sitting straight. Allow your spine to be erect, straight up and down. And close your eyes. You may want to uncross your feet, or if your hands or anything's in your lap, just set it aside. And take a few moments now to settle in. Take a deep breath in and slowly release. The breath connects us mind, body, and spirit. It also connects us one with another. Bring your attention to your breath as it's entering and leaving your nostrils. As you breathe in, you may notice your breath. It's just a little bit warm. As you breathe out, it's just a little bit cooler. Breathing in, it's warmer. Breathing out, cooler. Focusing on your breath gives your mind a moment just to settle in. Just to be present here and now. You have thoughts that come to mind. Don't be distracted. Just allow them to come to mind and then allow them to drift away. Allow yourself to feel the love, compassion, and truth of your being as we move into a time of silence. Now let's take a deep breath together and release. And with that breath, we bring our attention back to this moment and this time. And we bring back with us that connection, that knowing of the indwelling Christ expressing as each and every one of us. And we simply say thank you. And so it is. Okay, so today my talk is called Rise and Shine. And you'll get the connection. It's not just that one reference, but first, I'm going to share gratuitous baby goat in Easter wear. Why? Because it's adorable and it makes me feel happy to look at it. And I thought you might find it just as adorable and it might put a smile on your face. And that's really the only reason. It has no contextual reference at all. So I'm going to share a video with you here, and it was put together by a group of Unity ministers, and it has a context of reflect, release, and rise up, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And let's see, I've got to share differently. Sorry, I'm very slow on this, but here we go. Switching over to share this video. Great.
The greatest things that we can personally release are fear, separation, and lack. As we release these things from our consciousness, the entire world will rise up a little higher.
I've been releasing ideas about parenthood. My son went to college this year and he was the youngest. So parenting completely changes now. And I've been releasing ideas about what I thought it looked like and what it does look like.
Release self-doubt and embrace a greater love.
Let us release any and everything that limits the fullness of the divinity that we are. If it is not rooted in love, let it go.
Any belief in separation from our true essence, from our divine awareness, God, self, Christ consciousness, whatever name we give to it.
Lay it on the altar of your heart and let go and allow God to unfold good.
And we can also ask, is this something I need to be in relationship with in a different way? It's a good insight to help us recognize when we need to release something.
We are releasing all the old worn-out stories. We're letting go of anything that grows between our heart, ourselves, and the world.
The thinking that you are not enough. not smart enough, not strong enough, not rich enough, not famous enough, not blank enough. Because the truth of who you are is enough.
I release fear and I release doubt.
Fear creates resistance, and resistance creates a vibrational energy that holds us stuck in status quo. Yes, it is time to let that go.
When I stand in the truth of my oneness, I bravely release my imaginary cloak of fear and uncertainty. I let go of my limitations with the ease that a candle uses to dispel the darkness.
A time of reflection offers us an opportunity to step out of the ordinary, normal, habitual ways that we have been living our lives so that we can find something different, something new.
A time of reflection gives us an opportunity to pause and listen to our inner guidance.
Creating our lives through our way of thinking, feeling, and doing by focusing on the good.
I touch the space where I can more fully know the truth about creation and Creator.
When we take time for inner reflection mixed with a healthy dose of self-compassion, we can become conscious of any limiting beliefs that have been blocking our growth and evolution.
I have discovered resentments I didn't know that I was holding on to, and insights that would have never come to me if I hadn't taken time to just turn off the busy hustle bustle of the day.
When we get quiet enough, dropping beneath the noise of the mind and the universe, we access both a deep and ancient wisdom.
It also helps make us more self-aware and more in tune with the divine rhythm and flow of life.
It's a time that allows us to connect with Source and reminds us of the truth of who and what we are. Divinity in skin.
We are rising up into a new reality, a new way to connect with each other, heart to heart.
Purity.
Oneness with all of creation.
Curiosity. The kingdom of God.
A culture of peace.
Spiritual harmony.
Expanded consciousness.
Greater expression of who we've come here to be.
Higher awareness of our interconnectedness.
Divine potential.
Our authentic selves.
I rise up to magnificence.
Magnificence! The birth of a new humanity.
I am rising into possibility.
Possibility. We are rising up to the transmutation of the old and the transformation of the new.
Courage.
Self-empowerment.
Rise up as God.
The joy of community, the joy of unity.
Okay, I think they did a great job with that. It's really a very well put together video with the music behind it. And it also gives us a theme that we can share. So last week we talked on Palm Sunday about Jesus's entrance into Jerusalem. And we talked about that conflict arc of what was happening on the other side of Jerusalem with the imperialist parade of power coming in with Pontius Pilate, and the contrast between the two. And it sets up that hero's journey.
My name is Bobby, and I normally do videos that are predominantly for women who are 50 plus, and I cover things.
Sorry, something's going on in my background here.
Best in a very cheap.
So now you know what I was looking at, how to look better on camera. Sorry about that. One of these days I'm going to learn how to edit so I can take things out. So anyway, we were talking about that hero's journey that Jesus has. His life story was definitely that hero's journey that Joseph Campbell talked about with the antagonist and protagonist. He obviously is the protagonist, but he had many, actually, this last week of his life, antagonists. He had, of course, the imperialist government, but he also had to deal with the chief priest in the Jewish temple, who were questioning him and challenging his knowledge of Jewish law and principle. And he was able to address all their concerns without saying anything to violate their expectations or their principles. However, they were still working behind his back, trying to find a way to secretly or stealthily take him away and to kill him. But he was around crowds of people all the time, and people were excited to hear him, which was also a big conflict arc with this story of, as I mentioned last week, the imperialist government was also imperialist theology. They were meant to be seen as also the spiritual leaders in this in Jerusalem, and so that was a conflict of many, many, many layers. But during this week, Jesus went about the business of healing people and teaching with people, and also meeting with his disciples and to sharing with them what his expectations were for them to carry on his message of love and compassion. And on Thursday, Passover was the supper, the Last Supper that we hear about. And Passover, we talked about this Wednesday in our Wednesday Wisdom. It is intended to be, still to this day, the Seder meal for Passover is intended to be a time of reflection. Each component in the meal represents the salt water or the tears, and the lamb shank is representative of the blood of the lamb that was put on the doors for the angel of death to pass over. And all the components represent this period of time when Jews were slaves in Egypt. And it was intended to create an awareness so that they're never enslaved again. And so in this evening, Jesus is meeting with the disciples, and he did something unexpected. He washed the feet of every disciple. And this is something that is done in honor of another. And you would expect people to be washing the feet of Jesus, but he was washing the feet and of each of the disciples in a very humble way. And it was a time of reflection, and he was already aware of this energy that was going on, this conflict, these plots that were going on to try to get rid of him and to bring his demise and to take him out of the picture, so that these crowds that were following him would no longer have him. And so they were looking for reasons. They were looking for some sort of violation. And then release. We're following this reflect, release, and rise storyline that was created by the video. And so the release happened for Jesus while he was on the cross. And the story, I'm sure, that the criminals had his clothing, and they were gambling to see who got his clothing, and there he was along with other criminals suffering on the cross. But the release that he gave was through this statement in Luke 23:34. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And forgiveness does release us. It releases us from being attached to some judgment that we have on someone else's behavior or comments or attitudes or beliefs. And this time that we're in right now, this quiet period where we're all self-isolating and we're more and more still, the entire world is more still. And I'm sure you've seen the reports on how the earth is actually healing, that there's less pollution and the waters are becoming more clean. And it's a time where we have to maybe reflect and forgive ourselves as a human race, the damage that we've done to our earth. And maybe, hopefully, through this reflecting and this releasing of past ways of doing business, maybe we'll have a transformational moment. And my expectation, my hope, my prayer is that when we do resume business, it's possibly not business as usual, that maybe we'll come to a greater awareness, because this is a process that we're all going through all the time. We're all on that hero's journey as described by Joseph Campbell. So we're always having an opportunity to reflect and to release old patterns and habits that no longer serve us. And we can forgive ourselves for who we've been up to this point, because if we knew better, we would have done better. And that's a simple comment, simple little phrase, but it's really true. And you can give that forgiveness to others, because if they knew better, they would have done better. But it gives us this opportunity to rise up. And, in Luke 24:5, it says, when they went to the tomb, Jesus wasn't there. And they said, he's not here, he is risen. And whether you believe in the literal nature of this story or you believe it metaphorically, it doesn't matter, because the story is true. The story is true in our heart. It's true in our awareness. It's true in our race consciousness. The constant releasing and another level. We reflect, we release, we go to another level. We understand who we are and why we've been who we've been. And then we become another version, and hopefully a better version of ourselves. We always have this opportunity to continue this process. In Unity, the crucifixion was described by Charles Fillmore, who was one of the founders of Unity, he and his wife, Myrtle Fillmore. And crucifixion is described this way in his book, Keep a True Lent: the crossing out in consciousness of certain errors that have become fixed states of mind, the giving up of the whole personality in order that the Christ mind may be expressed in all its fullness. So as we do these reflections and as we release and we rise up to the next state of our consciousness, we can forgive ourselves and we can just move ahead knowing that we're crossing out that error consciousness, whatever we believed. Some of us grew up with certain beliefs about ourselves or about other people. And as we grow and get more experience in life, we leave those beliefs behind because they've been limiting us and keeping us from the full expression of that beautiful Christ nature, that love that's indwelling in each and every one of us. In the same book, Keep a True Lent, Fillmore says of the resurrection, the awakening and raising to spiritual consciousness of the I am in man, which has been dead in trespass and sin, which we refer to as error thought, and buried in the tomb of materiality. The I am is another word for God. If you remember in the Old Testament, they said, who could I say gave this message? Tell them I am that I am sent you. The I am is another expression, and it's the most powerful phrase that we can use. If we say I am, that's a powerful phrase. You're claiming whatever it is you follow that phrase I am with. I am tired, I am happy, I am just, be conscious and choose and live consciously. So in a moment of reflection, what are my error thoughts? Just take a moment and think about that. What thoughts do you have about yourself or others that just aren't serving you any longer? And then what's mine to give up? What am I doing? How am I spending my time? What thoughts am I allowing in my mind that don't serve me, that don't bring me to my highest state of being and my highest good, and keep me from being the love that I am in this world. And then rising up, who or what are we awakening to become? That's a big question. And there's not just one answer. We're always awakening to become more, but more of the expression of the Christ, which is what Jesus walked this earth. Our way shower Jesus walked this earth to show us how we all can be present and express that divinity, that expression of God that we are, each and every one of us, without exception. There's no person, there's no place, there's no thing that is not an expression of God and the absolute divine in this world. So for your weekly practice, because I know you love the homework, let's keep with that theme of rising up. Take some time now that your life is slower, you don't have so many places to go because you need to be staying home. Take time to reflect every single day. It's great if it's the same time every day. And then when you come across a thought that just floats through your mind and it's not serving you any longer, if you feel that it's bringing you out of that harmony, that connection with that divine spirit that lives within you, then make a decision to release it and replace it with another thought that will help you to rise higher, to be more present to the truth of who you are, and rise and shine. Shine that light, that Christ nature that lives within you. It does. I see it. Namaste. I love you. So now we get to have more music by Art and Lisa. And let's switch over and we can see them. There's Lisa.
Hey.
Hey.
That was wonderful. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you, Lisa.
I am just a pilgrim on this road, boys. I am just a pilgrim on this road, boys. I am just a pilgrim on this road, boys. This ain't never been my home. Sometimes the road was rocky along the way, boys. Sometimes the road was rocky along the way, boys. Sometimes the road was rocky along the way, boys. I was never traveling alone. And we'll meet again on some bright highway. With songs to sing and tales to tell. But I am just a pilgrim on this road, boys. Till I see you again, boys, fare thee well. Ain't no need to cry for me, boys. There ain't no need to cry for me, boys. Ain't no need to cry for me, boys. Somewhere down the road you'll understand. 'Cause I expect to touch his hand, boys. Yes, I expect to touch his hand, boys. Oh, I expect to touch his hand, boys. And I'll put a word in for you if I can. And we'll meet again on some bright highway. Songs to sing and tales to tell. But I am just a pilgrim on this road, boys. Till I see you again, boys, fare thee well. I am just a pilgrim on this road, boys. I am just a pilgrim on this road, boys. I am just a pilgrim on this road, boys. This ain't never been my This ain't never been my Sorry.
That was perfect.
My front door.
Thank you, Lisa. That was just beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, everybody. Give her some love there. Give her some love.
If that's okay, is it okay if we do one more?
Oh yeah, if you'd like to, that'd be awesome.
All right. You're gonna do it on 2? Okay. All right. This is another one of our favorites.
Oh, shine,
shine light on me. Open up, set me free. I hear you calling me. Open up and shine your love and light on me. My hands are dirty, but my heart is ready. My knees are weak, but my back is strong. My hand on the plow is ready. Oh, shine light on me. Open up and set me free. Well, I can hear. I hear you calling me. Open up and shine your love and light on me. There's a train to come in. I can see the headlights now. All God's children gonna get on board. Ain't nobody gonna be left behind. Oh, shine light on me. Open up, sets me free. I hear you calling me. Open up and shine your love and light on me. Oh, shine light on me. Open up and it sets me free. I hear you calling me. Open up and shine your love and light on me. Open up and shine your love and light on me. Open up and shine your love and light on me.
Perfect.
Happy Easter, everyone.
So great. Thank you, Lisa, so much.
You're so welcome.
Okay. So we'll just flip back over. So I just want to mention how grateful the Board of Trustees and I have been for the pouring in of your tithes and offerings during this odd time when we can't come together except virtually, and it really has meant so much. As I mentioned earlier, the donate button is now working on our website. Mandy's in the office 10 to 2 Monday through Thursday, and so she will be able to receive whatever you mail in. And so let's just take a moment, and whatever it is, your good wishes and your cash, let's bless it all right now with our offertory blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love. So instead of the song today, we're just going to say this out loud everywhere, wherever you are. The Prayer for Protection, which is a poem written by James Dillett Freeman. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Thank you for being here. We're going to close, and I'm going to stop the recording, and then we'll have time to say hello to everyone.